Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. Today, we got ourselves a good one. My first real tractor. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Tyler Crates YouTube channel. My name's Tyler. Hope y'all are having a blessed day. This one was a little difficult to get. I'm a little sunburnt. I'm a little tired. Had to get up early to get it. Had to go a whole town over. Used a car hauler. A little overweight. But it actually handled it pretty good. But yeah, without further ado, you've already seen both the garden tractors that I got, the Toro wheel horse and my apparently quite rare Craftsman 12 horse rear discharge 1985 edition special deal. If you haven't seen that though, you can go over to the channel, check those out. The Toro wheel horse is pretty cool. It's a wheel horse classic, so it's made by Toro. I gotta close my thingy. And obviously the Craftsman's made by Sears Roebuck. But wanted to give a shout out real quick to something. I don't know if Black & Decker even makes anything like this anymore, but the trailer tires were low and there's 4 of them, and I put a new battery in this. I got it for free, and it has a tire inflator. I put this thing through its paces. I had the tire inflator going on this thing for probably like 15-20 minutes straight. I mean, just putting it in. Like, I had to go from 30 psi up to like 45, and this thing, like, I moved from tire to tire. I'd wasted no time. So this thing was sweet. It was actually pretty easy to take apart. It's got a modified sine wave inverter, which but I mean, it works. It's got a battery, jump start capabilities, a light, alternator check. It's okay. It's got a lead acid in it, so it's not great, but man, I mean, this thing's pretty legit. So if you ever find one of these, I would recommend it. I think I did go through the pump and oil it. You just take the bottom off and you split the case in half and go in there and make sure not to touch anything. But I had to give a shout out to this thing because it worked really good, man. I'll tell you what, it's got the pump right there and jump start cables here. I don't have them. I need to get that connector, but I ran that thing, man. The hose only got warm. Pretty impressive. Now, as is tradition, this thing is rough. If you also don't remember, I have a combine that I should not have tore the motor off of. The combine motor was seized. It was pretty rough, but knowing what I know now, you don't know until you know. I could have probably got it unstuck with a mix of concoctions. And so originally I thought this thing was seized. That's what the guy said, but apparently he was able to pop it out of gear, and I guess it's not seized. But this thing should take minimal work unless something like major is wrong with it. But I haven't told you what it is. It is definitely it's my first tractor, my first real tractor. Guy just had it as an in-between. He got it, like, I can't remember what he said. Got it from somebody. So it wasn't like anything that you might see that's jank on this. It wasn't that guy that I know of. So without further ado, let's go look at this thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is my 1950 something to maybe 40 something Allis Chalmers WD with a Allis Chalmers WD 9 front end loader. It is a tractor. I'm quite still in shock that I have this tractor. Huge shout out to the Ford for hauling this thing. It actually did it. Like, my truck, all the hard work paid off. It felt so good to like hear and see my truck haul. I had my dad haul because I don't know how to haul trailers yet, and it's probably not a great idea to haul something like this, but the truck did it. Like, it did it 40 miles or something on back roads with some little hills. But without further ado, let's look this thing over. So I did unload this thing and look it over, and we got just temporary blocks in there because I don't really know how to hold this thing up. This is the bucket on it. It is hydraulic lift, manual dump. It's got the manure forks on it. They come off via some bolts, supposedly. I don't know why a couple of them are shorter than others. Whatever. This thing's been sitting like probably a long time. The plants take months to grow. Probably been sitting like, honestly, if I had to wager a guess how long this has been sitting, judging, you know, having my background in like vintage stuff, I'm gonna say probably 15 to 20 years, legitimately. Probably on the high side of 15. Like, it's sat for a long time, so it's, yeah. Did check the oil. This is a WD, not WD-45. The way I know that is after doing some research. The engine plate here on the driver's side, or passenger side, or right side if you're facing down the tractor, is the bolt-on plate. Let's see if I can get you a bolt right there. You can see a bolt right there. So that makes this thing a WD, not a WD-45. I guess the WD-45 had more horsepower, and I'm not quite sure about the tires. I just briefly was reading online. I can show you guys the oil. Dipstick's down here. It is oil that's low. The oil's been sitting in there so long, the oil's like kind of varnishy. Yeah, I have no clue the condition of this tractor, the condition of this motor. I have no clue why it was parked. Usually there's a reason. This thing's relatively clean. Put that back in there. And then I haven't touched anything else. The loader is right here. It's pretty cool. WD9 serial number, blah blah blah. It's actually really cool that the I don't know if this loader came with this tractor and it's been with it this whole time. That'd be actually really cool. But I'm not quite sure on all this stuff. Is gonna need tightening, and obviously I'm not gonna, you know, be dealing with that. But tires on the rear, they're in okay shape. The tires are 13.6 by 12 by 28, and this tire is it says heavy duty. This tire has no brand on this side. They got a brand on this side? What? This thing doesn't have a brand? It says nylon, heavy duty. I guess this tire doesn't have a brand, or if it does, I can't find it. Made in the USA. What? This thing doesn't have a brand? It says nylon right there. That's kind of weird that this tire doesn't have a brand. Don't know if they hold or not. Not leaking any water. Don't even know if they have. It's not water. It's stinking calcium chloride or calcium. The inside of this one's definitely not in great shape. Right there. Good thing this thing is a tractor and goes 2 miles an hour. This side is this is a different tire. It says it's a Seiberling tire. Seiberline. It is a 13.6 28 1228/1228. They're about the same tread wear. I'm gonna spray some tire stuff on here and see if I can get these to soak it up, get some of these cracks to go away. I don't know how much PSI is even in those. Oh yeah, there's definitely water in that. Yeah, I'd say there's water in that. The fronts, oh, this side is a Guardsman. Oh, it's a Sears tire. No way. That's actually so cool. Look at that, a Sears tire. That's crazy. This one's obviously worn down. Versus this is a Firestone. This is a Firestone. Yeah, this is a Firestone. Let's see here. Fairbanks Morris Magneto. I don't think this thing's stuck. I haven't really checked. This stinking loader, let me tell you, it's cool. Makes it really hard to get to anything. 3-point hitch, drawbar, and PTO under here. We tried moving it with the old wheel horse. Wheel horse couldn't do it, so we got my dad's Craftsman GT 6000, his Craftsman garden tractor, and it actually moved it. I don't know if this thing's still 6-volt. I mean, I'm gonna assume it is, but I think it's still 6-volt. Who knows if these leak? Hydraulic fluid. I think this is gonna be transmission fluid here. It is empty on the stick there. There ain't none on there. So battery tray's rusted out, and that's go figure. These things have been heavily abused by vice grips and pliers and who knows what else. It's got some battery box mount with your sweet ammo can deal. I haven't really dug through that yet. I kind of did, but it's a shifter. 1, 2, 3, 4 with a reverse. Don't know what this thing does. I think this is drawbar release. You got your clutch, 2 brakes, parking brake. This is actually surprisingly empty, and it actually didn't look rusty inside when I looked down in there. It's missing the sediment bowl. I may temporarily remove this and just run an inline filter with rubber. We'll have to see. I'm pretty sure the old carburetor here is seized up. I can't get linkage to move, so that's probably going to be the first thing we're going to dive into. The other thing is the this manifold plate looking thing is rusted off. Probably won't be getting these bolts out, you know. Front end's in great shape, hasn't had any chains drove through it from being busted or any of that, which is surprising with the front end. Maybe the front end loaders that saved it. If you don't know, a lot of guys will, or a lot of people will use these things and just absolutely destroy them with chains. They'll have a chain come off, snap, because they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, and it just rips the front end apart when it comes apart. But without further ado, you know what I was looking for was, what is this, dude? What? Oh boy. Oh, hey there, fella. Look at that. I would have reached my hand in there and got absolutely toasted. The bee will be dispatched. We don't take kindly to those here. Look at that thing. Where did that thing come from? I can't believe that's where it's hiding. It's been displaced. The starter, I have no clue what shape it's in. It won't click, 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 click. You can't get the thingy here to, I can't. There's no pulling on it. So, yeah, for y'all that don't know, again, first tractor, I'm aware that these things will kill you. I am aware that you do not stand in front of the tire when starting it or messing with it. You don't stand here, okay? And the nice thing about this tractor is actually it's quite easily accessible from the back, which is actually, it's actually really nice now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, whenever you're messing with tractors, you want to do it from back here, so if it takes off, you're not there or up there, because this thing has like the gear reduction of a tractor and will stop at nothing. So, because the transmission goes from here to back there, but I don't know. I don't know if that means anything good. I'm kind of soaking this thing in still, kind of looking at it like, okay, what needs to be done? But yeah, I'm trying to bet that right there hits that. It looks like it's been munched on with some pliers too. Obviously this is not factory, so. Oh yeah, it is leaking. You can see it in there, maybe. Can you see it back in there? The water neck looks to be leaking. Alrighty, I ate, feeling a little better. I got a some blocks and a rim under there. I guess by now y'all have seen the wheel horse. If you haven't, wheel horse garden tractor. Not really a mower. Like, I couldn't lift this thing probably. If you don't know, you can look up YouTube videos on lawnmowers versus garden tractors. I think this weighs like 600 pounds, 700. Got my little trailer here that I got with a free mower a long time ago. But I'll tell you what, if you're still using wheelbarrows, ladies and gentlemen, these things are a lifesaver. This setup here for like a real small farmer, for like gardening, manure clean out, oh, it's so much better than a wheelbarrow. I didn't think it, and I used wheelbarrows for years. My dad used wheelbarrows. This thing can haul probably like 3 wheelbarrow loads. It can haul a lot. So got all my stuff, and first thing I'm gonna do is jump right in and see what's up with the carburetor. I do real quick want to get a stick or something and stick it down in here and see how low I am. Apparently there's a plug here, a plug there, and one right there. I don't know, like, I need to read. It says like I'm not quite sure what's going on, but there's like different parts of the transmission, and then the bowl gears take gear oil, which I believe those down there are the bowl gears. I'm not quite sure though, I can look that up, but I want to see how much is in here. From the dipstick. Nothing on this. Oh, there's fluid like right there. Wait a minute. It's right here. How far down? That was just like right. Oh, it's right down there. Okay, so it's like relatively full. I mean, that honestly shouldn't really take that much, actually. Okay. One thing I will say that's nice about this is it's big enough where I can get my face in the shot. Lawnmowers are kind of like, or garden tractors are kind of down next to it. But I guess we're going to try to get this unit off. Oh, that hose is never coming off. I wonder if I can soak that in something. Okay, let's see here. Oh, it is nice to sit down. Dang. Alrighty, everybody. Got the carburetor coming off. If there's any weird cuts or something and I don't see it, I got this black Canon 80D in the sun. Might overheat. It hasn't yet, so I may have to make like a shroud for it or something. Maybe I could throw a rag over it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this carburetor off here. Oh boy. Where does that go? What is that, governor linkage? Can't see where that goes. Okay, it is governor linkage. How do you get the governor linkage off? Things that get used every time the tractor's used, like the throttle, or the steering wheel's like super brittle and like powdery. Well, with some normal use, that would come off pretty quickly. But with this, it's super nasty. The steering wheel is. Come on, buddy, get off there now. Okay, oh, okay, it's off. Ouch, smashing my fingers. Okay, throw that down there. Where did that other washer go? Alrighty, y'all, we're over here with the carburetor. We're about to get into the shade of this tree, which will be nice because it's boiling today, let me tell you. I'm actually gonna move back a little bit here. This thing's making noise, like it's sloshing, so we'll see how bad it is. See if this guy's stuck. Oh, not stuck. That's a good thing. Working on the back of this is not super ideal. We can get ourselves a paper towel to set stuff on. Actually, I'll set it on the paper towel. Hopefully y'all can see. I wish I could get this boot off. This thing is like, maybe I'll soak this down in some tire stuff. This is ridiculous. I've never used a screwdriver this big, a flathead that big to do stuff. There's some creature crawling around. Okay, let's see here. Look at that. Dry as a bone. Oh man, I couldn't be happier. Woofed on me. I was worried, y'all. Oh, this gasket's trashed. This gasket's handmade gasket. Something. Is our needle and seat work still? Sure enough. Yuck. Pump. It's definitely rough. Like, definitely seen some better days. Doing pretty good. Oh, resident rooster is coming to visit. It won't shut. So what I'm going to do, y'all, I don't really need to show any of this. I'm going to get this rubber boot off, get all this nasty rust water cleaned up that's kind of sitting in the bottom of this. It's not water, it's like rust film. I'm going to go through, blow this thing out, wash it with water and some super clean, run it with some hit it with some compressed air, and reinstall it back together. And honestly, probably just throw it back on. Yeah, that's the plan. Alrighty, everybody. Upon inspection inside this gas tank, somebody threw a rock down in there. I don't know if it was a kid. There's also some pieces of metal, or like plastic feed trough bin for cattle. A rock. Look at that. Alrighty, y'all. For right now, this is my gas drain setup. Someone had cut this and put an adapter in, but I had to adapt this because this is the only size barb fitting I have right now. I'm gonna order a sediment bowl, but this will just go in there somehow, and then we should have fuel. I'll have to run to the store and get some gas, and yeah, throw battery in this thing, check oil, check this oil bath air filter. We'll do the oil bath air filter actually right now. How bad are we? Well, you know, it's kind of difficult to get out. Honestly, drain it out. There's kind of some bugs over here, but all in all, actually pretty good. Underneath that clip is a lot more severe, so definitely be scraping that out. Alrighty, y'all. I've probably spent the past 30 minutes super cleaning this out. I got some Rotella T5 15 whatever in it. Reason I did that is because I got it at a super good price at Walmart a long time ago. I haven't used it for anything. It's just been sitting. So I figure what better project to use it up on than on this. Pulled this out. This sits in here. You guys can't really see. Sorry for the sunlight. But I don't think there's anything else up in here. Oh, there's a second one. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave the second one up in there. Really only the bottom part of this was dirty. So I'm just gonna take this and stuff it back up on in there, hopefully. Okay, I gotta be careful here because I really don't want to mess this up. So we're gonna take our oil. I'm gonna go up in here, holding it, slide it up, put it on, and rotate our knob down. There we go. The thing's on. That was actually pretty stinking easy. Oof. If y'all are enjoying so far, drop a like, comment, maybe share with somebody. I usually don't say that kind of stuff, but the videos seem to be doing better, and I really do enjoy making this content. I'm extremely blessed to be able to have such the opportunity. At some point this thing will get a full fluid change. It may get it sooner or later depending on when I fire this up and drive it around, how the fluid looks. Definitely want to heat the fluid up before I drain it, because who knows what kind of junk could be where. I mean, who knows really. Okay, sorry about that. My camera turned off just as soon as I pulled this out. As you can see, it's definitely not super great. Guess I could get a flashlight and try and see down in those cylinders. We're quickly losing daylight, so I'm going to get as much done as I can. I doubt I'm getting this started tonight as much as I'd like to do that, but let's just keep chugging along. Alrighty, y'all, here is number 2. Let's see how bad it is. If it's good or bad, I don't know. Just lots of the same junk. Clean it off and continue. I do have a bore scope, but I'm just gonna go for it and not mess with it. A lot of the same. This one's really no different. It's actually a little bit cleaner. Somebody's missing their spark plug boot. Last but not least, so far good signs on the top end in terms of ooh, that one's a little rough. That one's definitely different than all the others. More condensation on that, more corrosion. Alright, y'all, pardon the awkward filming, but hopefully y'all can see that. Just some minor stuff in there. If you can't see that, I'm sorry. But that should come out of there. It's like rust stuff, so not too worried about that. Cylinder wall, it's mediocre. Needs to be ran. That's what I would say. Since this needs to run. Alrighty, everybody, I think the final thing is to, before the sun goes down here, or as it's going down, throw a 12-volt battery in this and see what it does. The solenoid clicks, and for that cylinder it's got junk in it. I'm actually just going to leave the spark plug out, and hopefully it just blows it out of there. So I'm going to go get a battery, and we'll see what this thing does, if anything. Alrighty, y'all, sorry for the weird lighting, but got the battery in, going to clean the posts, stick them on, and we'll see if this thing spins over. Just going to leave you guys there recording. Thing cranks. I'll be darned. Hopefully we blew some of that junk out of there. Doesn't look like we did. I don't know if it's spinning over quick enough. Okay. Batteries had it. Well, y'all, I'm gonna call that a pretty good success. Within a couple hours, I have got this thing turning over and basically ready to go, if it's got compression, of course. Yeah, without further ado, I am going to, I think, call it a night. I could throw some gas in it and fire it off, but it needs oil, and I gotta do animals. So I'll catch you all probably tomorrow. Alrighty, y'all, it is late in a new day. Sorry for the weird sun. I got some gas. I'm gonna pour it in here and see if anything leaks. You may be wondering, if it does leak, what are you gonna do? I'll go get some needle nose vice grips and pinch off the stuff. There's also a bee already. Today's 80, tomorrow's supposed to be 40, and the next day's possibly supposed to be snowing. Not sure if I buy that. We'll see. Alright, everybody, we're under the WD here. Suppose, I guess, if you take this off, I'm hoping in here is a I'm hoping that in here is a is the flywheel, because I guess that's where you find your timing marks for this unit. I hope this doesn't start leaking. Alrighty, everybody, I just looked here. It says fire right here, and this tab is, I can see a little thing sticking up here. Went in here with the bore scope. The exhaust valve's open. So, beginning to possibly think something might be awry. I don't know if, how do I take this off? I'm afraid I'm breaking something here. I don't know how to take this. Oh, wait a minute. Well, y'all, a flathead snapped off. Figures. I tried heating it and put penetrating lubricant on it. I have it all over the, got stuff strewn everywhere. I had to take this thing out. I'd say this thing has not ran in quite some time. So I'm gonna go take this thing apart, attempt to. Also, this upper snout has been snapped off. They JB welded it, but didn't make it thick enough on this side, so that's wonderful. But I'm gonna go see if I can get this thing apart. Alright, y'all, it's been a long time. I'm super duper tired. Couldn't get the screw out that I broke off. Couldn't get it out. I tried heating it, tried doing all the stuff. So I wasn't able to drill it out, of course, and I mean, I suppose you could maybe drill it out if you had harder drill bits. Highly unlikely. It's aluminum, hardened steel, and then some steel. So I'd have to mount this thing in a vise and a whole bunch of stuff, and I am just not into that. This housing on this side is already cracked and filled with JB weld, so I just didn't feel like it was necessary to spend the rest of my evening drilling a single screw hole out. Alrighty, everybody, it is the next day. It's later in the day. As you can see, it has been torrential downpour. Yesterday 80 degrees, today 50, pouring rain, mist, fog rain, awful. This weather needs to chill out. I was extremely frustrated last night. Shouldn't have been frustrated. Sometimes I'm a little hard on myself, like, why isn't this thing just running? Just come on, run. Like, what am I doing wrong? I don't blame it on the machine. I really blame it on myself. Like not seeing the levers and not knowing what they did. I just complete oversight. And then the carburetor was leaking a ton. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it was leaking. I'm not sure. It like had filled up into the intake tube, and I was like, what? I was super confused. I beat on it with the my Leatherman, and it didn't really do anything, and it was late, so I just clamped the hose off with vice grips, the needle nose vice grips, and let it drain into a bucket. It was like a cup, half a cup. So I tore it apart, went through everything again. This time I actually made my own gasket out of gasket material that supposedly is rated for gasoline. So I actually hand cut a gasket out. Actually came out pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with it. Sanded the carburetor down, made the faces a little flatter. They're kind of messed up and ugly. So I just kind of sanded them down, made it nicer. I just filled the radiator up. It was basically empty. The water pump's leaking on this, which sucks. I'm not quite sure on how to remedy that, if it needs replaced. I don't know. I sprayed some lubricant, penetrating lubricant, the Tri-Flow stuff. I sprayed it up in the little like weep area where the shaft is. Maybe it'll lubricate something. I don't know. Chances are seal's wiped out. And I've spent the majority of the day working on electrical. Thankfully this thing didn't start. The magneto kill switch was not hooked up. I had to go through all the lights and stuff and fix them. I think, confirmed that this thing has been converted over to 12 volts. That's a GE light that was here. I took it and put it up there. This one was over there. This is a Philips. We tried finding that online. It's super hard to find. Weird, flat, clear Philips light. On both of them, their numbers were completely worn off. That one says M110 on it, and this one says N33, 21, and J9. I don't know why they would print it on there and not. Anyways, show you guys. Got the lights working. You like that? I'm a little suspect about this one, whether or not it's 12 volt or 6 volt. Not quite sure. It's extremely bright. I think it might be some aviation. Me and my dad were really trying hard to find it, but it's quite bright and it's flat. Boy, it puts out the heat. It's a spotlight, I do believe. It's a Philips focus camera. Philips 21, so you can actually feel the heat from that. And then this GE here, got all those fixed up. Had to redo some of the wiring, and I took this panel off, and this battery's toast, but I'm like boiling it now. It was on a trickle charger, but now I'm giving it the boil treatment. Hooked this kill switch up. Hopefully it works. It's weird. It's off, on, it's off, on, off. So I'm not sure about that, but I took this apart, oiled everything, and used a whole bunch of this CRC. So I used a whole bunch of this CRC electrical cleaner and just hosed everything down. And then the last light I got to work was back here. This has FUs in here, so I'm going to cut the wire, but it has a high, that's low, and that's high. So that works. This is a Westinghouse number 2 H20. I don't know what it actually is, but just added some water. Like I said, the radiator was completely empty. There was none in it at all. I'm gonna leave that plate off because there's a nut, or there's a grease zerk under there. I'm assuming for the clutch. I think before I hop on this, because I have a feeling it's gonna fire up, I'm gonna watch a video on how to like operate this machine. The carburetor, as you can see there, I did take the vice grip, needle nose vice grip off, and it seems to be good. It started leaking when I started cranking the motor over, so it'll be interesting to see if it does that again. It's got all of its jets and everything in it. Like, everything was really not in that bad a shape. The only thing that's not working is the little drain valve thingy on the bottom doesn't drain like at all. I'm not sure about that, but I'm a little more like weary of this thing today. The rain's really got me under. There's grease marks everywhere on this. I'm gonna go through and grease it after I like maybe drive around a little bit. Main reason I want to drive around, I want to see if the transmission gets soupy, and I want to see if the engine oil gets soupy. Both of those things. The engine will happen immediately with it like idling, and if that happens I'll shut it off and have to drain it and do all that. Transmission, I'll have to drive the transmission around. But yeah, that will be getting taken off. So I'm gonna set y'all down. Pardon me looking crazy, my hair's got soaked. I'm gonna think for a little bit, make sure I got everything, just kind of double check some stuff, just double check my brain. I did fill the radiator up. It was like empty, which I would assume is the thing leaking, the battery starting to boil. Probably turn that off. So the one thing I forgot I'm gonna do is watch a video on how to operate this thing. So I'll catch y'all in a second. Alrighty everyone, I look like a psycho. I got my hair all crazy. Watch the video on how to operate this thing once again. We're gonna see. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know which way on the switch is on and off. So we're just gonna see if this fires up. I don't know. I'm gonna leave the battery boiling. If this thing starts, I'm gonna disconnect the charger, start it, and we'll go drive it around if the oil is fine.
Bucket was going up.
We're lifting. Hydraulics are engaged, so that means I think we need to go like that. I think. Okay, that's the wrong way.
Oh, it's down.
Okay, there we go. So down is hydraulics down. Okay. We don't want the hydraulic pump engaged while we're turning this over, obviously. Alrighty everyone, it is the next day. Once again, the old Allis Chalmers did not start. This time, the magneto got really taken apart. Okay everybody, so I think this is the original Allis Chalmers Fairbanks Morse magneto. I think this, however, here is off a Caterpillar. This got taken way apart. We weren't getting spark. We're getting spark out of this. The rotor tested good, everything was working, but it wasn't coming through these. So what we ended up doing, my dad and I took this thing way apart this time. So in here is this like cap deal, but you can't take it out because it hits on these on each side. But these things here, I'm trying to film with this stinking loader in the road. These here on the other end in there are just the end of the plug with this little crimp-on cap, and they just push down inside and are supposed to make contact. Well, they were junk. They're destroyed. They're gonna need replaced. This is all gonna need to be replaced. It just was not great. Sanded it down, put dielectric grease in it. Hopefully it works now. These here are resistive. These screw onto the end of the spark plug. They have a screw, like a Phillips, except it's not like a screw in here that screws in. So everything tested good continuity wise up to here, and then the multimeter wouldn't get through these. I can't remember what the resistance on these was. Some was a little more than others, but everything in here better work because I took it apart, I tested everything. It sparks, the rotor is good, the cap is good through all of its components, and I believe the plugs all tested good for continuity as well. There is a mark that is currently lined up with this. You can see the mark on the flywheel. That is top dead center. Over here, further up on the flywheel, where you can't see it, is a mark that has an F next to it. That's fire. Supposedly, I do believe according to the forum that I was reading on, or what the guy posted, or what the person posted, was that mark is 30 degrees before top dead center and is to be timed at full throttle, 1700 RPM, and that's what you get with this lower compression engine. I believe the way you do that is by moving the magneto around. By the way, this is the underside of the old Allis Chalmers. You have your clutch and everything here. There is a grease zerk up in here. I gotta watch a video or look up where all the grease zerks are. I'm gonna grease them here in a second. Another one there, and another one there. You have your oil pan. You have your absolute mess of a steering gearbox. So here you have your PTO out to like a girdle, PTO shaft girdle, which then goes out to another one down there. We're going to talk about this in a second. This thing does not actually have a 3-point, but rather it has 1950 Allis Chalmers proprietary equipment attachment stuff. So yeah, I guess we could talk about that now. I believe those right there, I think are called your bowl gears, maybe not, I don't know. As you can see, it's got a gear, it's got another reduction inside the transmissions on top of the transmissions reduction, so it comes in and is further reduced there, obviously giving it a lot of torque. I can see it's freshly leaking there. I don't know what that is though. That's thick. What Allis Chalmers did here, supposedly I was reading online, all the tractor companies did this. They're trying to come up with their own proprietary latching system. This is called a Allis Chalmers snap coupler setup. So you have this extremely serious piece that flips up. It'll get your fingers. A bar would go in here, and it would receive here, and then you'd flip that down. I do believe it also would connect under there where this drawbar connects, and then you'd have the same thing on the other side. I'm going to be making my own 3-point for this. It looked pretty dang simple to make. The 3-point did. Basically, you just have rods with T's that come down, connect to your 3-point bars, and you can make them adjustable with like a nuts, and like a, I forget what they're called. I'm gonna make my own deal and make it super simple. And then the other thing that I'll need to put on here is a piece that goes around here that is for the top link of your 3-point. So your top link is your adjustment on your 3-point. If you push your top link in and out, it adjusts how the 3-point will sit. So if you pull it in, I believe it digs, and if you push it back, it won't dig for like I think a plow. Probably kind of don't know what I'm talking about / do know what I'm talking about, but I mean, I do know farm stuff, but I also kind of don't. Another way you can do these 3-points is looks like you take the snap coupler, I guess you'd call this the snap coupler. You take this off and you just run a bolt through here, and then you run down to your 3-point arms that come out. Okay, everybody, spark plugs are in, magneto's tightened down, it's got oil up there, hydraulic fluid has stuff. The tank should have some fuel. I don't know if the battery's gonna even work. I may have to go get the boost thingy, but we'll see here. Okay, neutral. I don't know if the kill switch works. Choke out. Alrighty, everybody, we're back again. Okay. The magneto sparks 100%. I put it on, clamped it down with a vise. I didn't crush it because you can crack that, the case. And then I took a drill with, I don't remember what size it was, maybe 3/4, can't remember, and spun it over and took a screwdriver and arced the coil out to the body, and it was arcing like 1/2-inch arcs. So at lower RPM it didn't, like real low RPM it didn't spark, but this thing should spin quick enough to get to spark. We'll see. I don't know. I know for sure the magneto sparks. So alrighty, everybody, had to end up taking the little actuator for the starter apart. It was getting hot, and it's still getting hot despite me cleaning it and sanding it and filing it and making the brass or copper all shiny. I don't know. I think the battery might actually be too weak to spin this thing over. It is raining, so I got to put you guys back under here, but as soon as this cloud passes, we'll see if we can get this thing to spin over to fire the magneto. Hopefully. I'm out of options at this point. I don't know. So I ended up having to take that thing off and clean it and double nut it. It only had one nut and it's still somehow getting hot. Not sure how that is. Obviously I know that heat means resistance, but I cleaned it and filed it and like made it super, like sanded it on the sander. I don't know what the deal is there. I got the battery on boil. I know 100% this magneto sparks. It just doesn't spark very good at low RPM, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve a high enough RPM to get this thing to spin over. I don't know. I honestly am out of options at this point. I'm going to try a different battery if this doesn't work, and then after that I have no clue. I'm completely out of options. So usually I'm pretty good about sorting this stuff out and like figuring out, okay, like this and that and the other thing, but this and that and the other thing have not proven themselves easy to find on this extravaganza here. And usually 12 volts spins a 6-volt starter over like really fast. Not happening here. And despite me cleaning, I don't know. I'm praying this thing starts, pops, anything. I've put a lot of work in for no noise. Basically 3 full days of work. 2.5 full days. So, I don't know. We'll see. I suppose while I'm waiting here, I can take this bent, destroyed thing off. Don't think it's doing warning anymore. It's pretty thrashed. So we'll just get that out of here. Make sure that none of this falls in the yard like that. Get this thing set off to the side. Wow, look at that. 10,000 times better. Somebody mangled that thing. I do know that you need those to drive down the road and this kind of stuff, I do believe so. Looks like for the most part this is lightened up. So let's see if we can get this thing to bark to life. Well, that'd do it. This battery's trash. Okay, I'm gonna take this battery out and switch it. I'm done with this battery. It's holy smokes, that was a big backfire. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I wonder if this thing's 180 degrees out. Oh, that smells horrible. It's backfired. I have it timed correctly, so why is it, maybe those aren't backfires, maybe that's it firing. Oh, those are definitely backfires. Woo! We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere, everybody. We're clearing the exhaust out. Just gotta. Okay. So somehow, I guess I'm 180 out on my timing. I had the plug wires way off. I don't know what happened. Shout out to my grandpa for pointing that out. Okay, hold on, everybody. I blew the bottom of the muffler out, so it's probably gonna be loud. Oh! Still have something wrong. The muffler might as well come off. I just blew like a lot of it off. It's a good thing. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody. Got rid of the horrendous exhaust / currently destroyed exhaust. Top of the pistons have a lot of rust on them. Hopefully we don't bend a valve. Not pulling the head, I'll pull the head when the valve bends. Hopefully this thing just barfs it all up. and fires to life. Hopefully everything's right. The magneto was off, so oh my. I got this disconnected here, this little oil guy, and I should just be able to. Two, three.
Your foot's in the road. I hate to say it.
Are you ready for it?
Oh no, it's just a second. I got this janky ass setup here.
Ready?
Yep. He's like a bag of concrete, probably.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna wash my hands and I will get y'all in here to see this thing.
The cylinder head doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't have compression either.
Cylinder head looks pretty good.
Alrighty, everybody, here we are. That's cylinder number 4, which was firing. There's number 3, which has a 3 on it and an arrow. Doesn't have any oversized numbers on it. There's number 2 and number 1. Now, when I first looked in here with the bore scope, these 3 looked like that, or maybe that. They didn't have that huge chunk, but they were clean. I think what happened is when that thing backfired, a whole bunch of the exhaust muffler went back down in here, because this stuff looks like exhaust muffler, and the bottom of the head definitely didn't shed this off, and the cylinder walls didn't shed that, and the top of the pistons didn't look like that. So the only place it could have come from was outside the cylinder, which would be either intake manifold or exhaust. So I'm gonna vacuum these out and kind of go from there, see what's what. Clean this off. Got to order a head gasket. Head gasket's toast. I haven't looked at the bottom of the head yet. My dad said it looks fine, so this thing definitely was kind of hard to get off. It fought, but got it off. Honestly, everything looks fine. The cylinder walls aren't really scratched up because rust, thankfully, doesn't really scratch cylinder walls. Doesn't seem like it did. So I may do a ball hone, wipe any of the little stuff that comes off from that, and then I'm gonna reassemble this thing and hope that the rings aren't actually shot. Which, if they are, I don't know what I'll do. That'll suck. Alright, everybody, so it's been a while. I don't even remember what the last clip was, but one of the valve seats on this thing was completely eaten away. I don't know what happened to this specific cylinder or the specific exhaust valve, but none of the other ones were as severe as this one here. So we tried using a valve seat stone and a cutter, and it just wasn't going to work. The valve seat was toast. So tried looking some stuff up online. There's tools you can get, I guess, or you have a shop do it. But what I ended up doing with this was, and with the help of my dad, coming up with the idea of a Dremel. I had to do this really carefully here. I used a Dremel bit and ground that down super thin, because this thing was in there, it was not coming out. You can see how thin that got ground down.
And my dad made this thing. We bent it. We're gonna have to bend it back, but he cut a lip on it for the inside, and we would stick it in here and hook it and hit that in, and it would act as a lever. And then we got this, which is a Blue Point number 1650. Made the end of that shaped similarly, and then we were able to pry it out using a hammer. And the Dremel I used, the bit was this type of bit, and it has to be hardened because that valve seat on this motor for the Allis Chalmers is a hardened valve seat for the exhaust only, supposedly. So I used that. It would have been nice had this had an end on it. I was really careful. So when you do this, or if you do this, I'd recommend taking it to a shop and having it done by somebody else. But if you have no money, attempt it at your own risk. Go really slow. Like, just don't let anything distract you. Take your time, because you don't want to cut into any of the valve seat face. That would be really bad. So I just want to show that, because there's really no videos online of how to remove a valve seat kind of in a DIY way. As you can see, it cracked right there as well. It worked really well.
Alrighty everybody, if I sound congested, I don't know if it's allergies, but I just got done sneezing a whole bunch. It is the next day. Here is the head. My dad and I yesterday lapped these two valves. This would be your exhaust and your intake. The exhaust turned out pretty good. It's got a chunk right here that's a little bit of an issue. Normally this would be like super shiny like that, but you know, it's not. Hopefully it holds compression. So the spec on these supposedly is 1/16, 0.0625. I guess someone on the forum said that. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm gonna assume it is. So I did that one to 1/16. You guys can't even see anything. So I did this one to 1/16, and then this one I just kind of eyeballed. I'm done on it though. I just cleaned it up with this tool here, which is a valve grinding or a cutting tool. So I cut that one just enough. There's some little spots here and there where it's not super great. The intakes really just need to be lapped. They're not a real issue. This last exhaust, I'm going to do that one and show you guys it. It might not come out great. I don't know. As you can see, I did get this one out. I have to find the seat for this. And the valves for these two also came out pretty good. So hopefully these seal. Obviously 10,000 times better than they were. And this one was already firing. This had 90 psi. So I'm hoping that obviously we made this better. I'm going to slide the 46 degree over, which I believe I did the 46 on this one, I hope. Pretty sure I did. So stick that on there and stick this on there. And now we are going to okay, and we'll take this off. Oh yeah, this one's rough. Okay, well, I'm just gonna keep going on it. Okay, so how we're gonna do this is I'm gonna come in here and go like, yeah, we're right at a 16th. I mean, right at a 16th. So if you can see it there, see if we can get the camera to focus on it. There we go. You can see it has pitting in it, but really isn't much you can do about it. You can see the difference between that one and the intake. See how the intake's nice and shiny and the exhaust isn't. Supposedly on these, the intake is part of the head, which I don't know about that because it looks like yeah, I think it is the head. The intake is. Can't tell. Yeah, I think it is because I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm gonna clean these up and install them because I
don't want to get stuff mixed up, and I want to actually start putting stuff back together. So the way this goes in is just going to slide it in there. And then these valves have this really small clip that you don't want to lose, that goes right. Okay, there we go. You got to be really careful not to lose those, y'all. You got to have a steady hand. So now that prevents the valve from falling out. And now I need to go get my spring compressor. This cup here goes on here like so, and then the spring assembly goes on. You want to make sure this is seated. One of these was like that, so you want to make sure it's like that, and then I'll compress this and put my keepers in, and lastly I will oil it with some engine oil. You don't want to do assembly lubricant or assembly grease on these, I've heard, because it can cause the valve to stick open. So you just want to make sure that you use oil. And there's two. So this thing kind of moves up and down on the shaft of the valve. So when I got that one on, I spun it around and kept pressure up to keep it seated, and that allowed me to slip this other one in. And then when I got them both in, I pulled out slightly, which seats them against the retaining groove in the ring, or in the valve here, and then you just go like that, make sure it cups or sits in its cup here, and you're good to go. That right there is first valve in. Now what I'm gonna do,
Watch out, you guys.
is I'm gonna take some oil and if you saw last video, here's the Special Craftsman. I'll definitely be selling this. The float sank and I gotta change the oil. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you I'm tired, my allergies are horrible. I've been taking tons of honey. I don't like allergy medicine. It makes me feel, ugh, I just don't like it. So if I'm a little kosher or calm, it's because I feel like my nose is on fire. When I tell you the exhaust valve seat for that tractor was hard to get, probably wouldn't have been able to get it if it wasn't for, I'm not affiliated with the unofficial Allis Chalmers forum, and they're not affiliated with me. Nonetheless, huge shout out to that forum. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with them at all. I am just a member on there. I signed up because forums are the best place for information. You have like thousands of mechanics, engineers, owners, backyard fixers, like everything. So highly recommend signing up for forums if you ever get into this type of equipment, or anything in general, really. But here is the Allis Chalmers WD valve seat. That is the part number 241528, and I'm not sure if this one's right. There was a lot of back and forth on messaging on measurements for this. Supposedly it is too thick, but I can shave the back of this down, I believe, or the front, and then regrind the seat, because I have the cutters for the seats. But it was either this one, which is the correct diameter but the wrong depth, or it was another part number, which was the incorrect diameter but the correct depth. So we're gonna see. Valve seats in that. I'm gonna go ahead and heat this a little bit more. What the? An earwig fell out. Holy smokes. You know it's serious when it spawns an earwig.
Holy smokes, it's actually in. Oh my goodness, that worked. It's not cracked. Alrighty, y'all. I don't know if I'm supposed to use lubricant with these stones. I feel like it would clog the stone. Okay, that works. Maybe I should use lubricant. Where's my phone? Alrighty, everybody, listen. I do not condone doing this way at all. We need a thicker stone. But the deal is with this, because it sticks up like an eighth, probably more. This is what I'm using, 40 grit. I'm getting a whole bunch of the material off, and then once I get down to where I'm starting to get close to the face here, I'm gonna come back with the stone, cut it flat, and then cut my 45 in. So the whole goal for this is just getting material off, because the cutter, I had it out here, I must have put it back. The cutter is a hand style, and if it was driven, I could do it quick. They're carbide bits and they'll take it right off, but it's hand driven, and I don't have one that's perfectly flat. They're all at an angle for whatever valve angle you need it to be at. So I'm just using this, and it's not perfect, and I'm making sure that I'm trying to stay even, but I'm just kind of... I'm gonna call that good. That's even pretty much all the way around, just to make sure. I mean, it didn't change at all, and it's making the high-pitched sound. So I think what I'll do now is get the stone. Alrighty, y'all. Well, after a ton more grinding, it is just about flat. There's a little spot here. I'm going to leave it because the inside's getting cut and the outside doesn't matter. So now we're going to move on to cutting. And if I get back in here, it might serve as a little reminder. I doubt I'll ever forget this, though. Got our cutter here. We're going to put this on. And we're just going to start... cutting our 46 in. So y'all can see that there. We're done. That turned out. So there's your depth. If I can capture it. Hold on. There's the depth. Oh gosh, that is hard to capture. You can see it right there. Let me see if I can clean it a little bit better. Depth right there, barely see it. There is the face of the valve. You can see right there a little spot that you didn't quite get. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I think that turned out. I'm impressed. Now I obviously know y'all. I've said it before. It's not the correct way to do it here. This is obviously experimental, but fantastic. Like, I watched the videos online of like, it's in the like $10,000 machine that like finds center and blah 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 and all that. For being in a canopy car cover with some like DIY tools, pretty good. So I'm very happy that I was able to do this, and that it worked. It worked. It actually worked. Alrighty. Wow, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, y'all. Hopefully the camera stays focused right there. I don't know how long it's been since I've recorded, but I got my Felpro kit in here. It is a Felpro HS514S for this. I believe it's a W201 motor. Hopefully the camera refocuses there. I don't remember what I recorded last. All I know is that I'm ready to put this thing back together. Yes, the water pump still leaks. I don't care. Let's see here. So this should go like this. Make sure y'all are we good?
Okay, we're good. This should go on there like this. It would stand to reason. Fits great. You have these here, so you got this small hole, this medium-sized hole, and this large hole for your water jackets. What that does is forces the water to the back of the motor, then come up through the head, then go back to help cool the back pistons. Because if these are all the same size, the water would just come up through here, and there'd be almost no flow back here. So now that this is on, I cleaned the head off, and clean the deck here off. Now that this is on, I'm going to get some help from my dad, and I believe we're ready to stick this on. And then when I stick the head on, I'll stick push rods in, put my rocker arm assembly on, and then we will put we'll torque it, and then we'll put, or we gotta put the water pump thermostat housing slash, it's a thermostat housing slash inlet housing for the head. We'll put that on, and we'll go, maybe I'll do here, 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 here. You want to work in a circular motion, so wherever you start, you want to work out. So I'll go here, 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 here. I'm gonna go double check. I staked the intake, or that exhaust valve in. I just put 4 really small stake marks in the head. Nothing like super crazy, but just in case if it came out, that'd really suck. I did put ATF in these, and through the past 4 weeks, month that this has been sitting, I've been putting ATF WD-40, Tri-Flow, and PB Blaster in the cylinders. I did do a hone job. These sleeves are shot. The ring ridge is horrible, but they do hold. They did hold the ATF when they were in the up position, or when they were in the down position. In the up position here and here, they leaked off. So hopefully it'll hold compression. I don't see why it wouldn't, because this back one held compression, and all the other ones are kind of as equally as mediocre as that. So. Come here, buddy. One last look. May the Lord watch over thee, valves. Have fun. Remember, stay together. What is happening? Make sure we're good. We're not good. There's stuff getting cut off. This is last look. Goodbye. Alrighty. The spec I found calls for 70 foot-pounds for the half-inch studs and 25 for the 3/8. So I'm going to start out doing 40, I think. I'm actually just going to go around and give these a tighten. In terms of our normal winters, oh wow, it's really going. Look at this, you guys. Look at how much rain there is. Look at that. It was just raining harder than that a second ago. Oh, and just like that, the rain has stopped. Magic. It's magically stopped. Oh man, 40's tight. Okay. Let's see if I can get a feel for 75. Okay, 75 is a lot, dude. Wow. Oh, that hurts my arm doing that like that. Oh. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, dude, working over this loader. Ow, that hurt my arm. Dang it, man. I should have taken this loader off. I still could. They all feel the same. When you're doing engine stuff, you're looking for anomalies, really. Like, this thing's sitting up on the edge of the, my brain, man, come on. Lifter. This thing's sitting up on the edge of the lifter and it doesn't feel right, and it's like walking around, because technically if you go like this down there, if you were to take a round thing and set it on here, it would go like that. You'd rotate it around and it'd want to walk around. So when you stick it down there and you rotate it, there's no walking around. So I guess now I can get the rocker arm assembly. Assemble the rocker arm assembly. Here it is. I just cleaned it, and one of the things I was able to do, if you do want to take these apart, you take this pin out and you slide these off, and you need to make sure you keep them in order. The one thing I did was I just took this and slid it like that, or like that, and I lubricated down inside, and I sprayed a whole bunch of 1030 in here. Pumped 1030 in there, I should say. So these should, keyword should, slide on. Okay, I was reading on a CA, or I was reading on for a CA, and I guess it's 25 or 20. I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna go down until I feel comfortable with the spec here. Okay, we're gonna bump the starter here and watch this thing crank over. Okay. This thing's out of gear. Oh, that's the wrong one. Ooh. Okay. Alrighty, y'all, so I'm just setting valve lash here. I read online that you're supposed to do hot and cold and this and that and the other. I'm just setting it to 15 thousandths and we're going to go for it. See how it turns out here. These definitely are tight, and I didn't realize it until thinking about it. The reason they're tight is because I lapped the valves, and I lapped the valves, and that shrunk that allowed the valve to travel further up, which completely messed the rocker arm lash up. So now I'm having to loosen them. Look at this strange little bug, you guys. Look at this thing. What is that? What an interesting little creature. That is a creature. Oh, it is. Look at how he stands. What? My camera won't focus on you. Hi, bug. You're on YouTube. Okay. I gotta put spark plug back in. I'm not gonna fire this up with the valve cover off because this thing hasn't been fired up in a really long time, and all of that down there is gonna go in there. So obviously something made a nest in there at some point. So I'm gonna get the valve cover back on. I realize I
Haven't showed myself at all in this clip. Hello. I probably look horrible because I've been standing in rain and, you know, all that stuff. But I'm gonna put the valve cover on, put the carburetor back on, and I'm just gonna sit. One thing I like to do with these projects, when I do stuff like this, that's this in depth, I like to sit for like just a little bit and kind of recap. Like, okay, head gasket's in, valves are adjusted, push rods are in their cups and functioning, and just go through everything. So I'm gonna get the valve cover on and keep the valve cover gasket from doing what this valve cover gasket did, which was it got put on and I stepped on it. It got put on and slipped out of the valve cover and it didn't seal, and that's why here and here are covered in oil. I am going to stick a little bit of RTV to the bottom of these, to the bottom of the valve cover gasket, and set it down in there. And then there's O-rings that go on here. So okay, I can already tell one of the issues with these is that they must want to slide in the center. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see or not, I'm going to move this and put a copious amount right there. You thought that was going to work. Okay, that's how I wanted it to go on. That went on way better. Where are those little O-rings? This is the second engine I've ever torn into. And I just am unsure of myself sometimes. Because not a lot of young people do this. And if they do, I don't know. I hope more young people do this than I am giving credit for. Alrighty, y'all, for once, it's the next day. I actually decided to wait last night. It was getting late and I didn't want to rush it, and that gave the RTV time to cure up. I had to take the thermostat housing off in order to fill the crank, or the block, with water. I just did straight water. Shouldn't be freezing around here anymore. I'll need to remember though to fill that, and the radiator is gonna need some water, but just kind of went over a check in my brain, and as far as I can tell, everything seems good. I just noticed something really weird. I wonder what's up with that. A space that I can see. What's going on here? Why wouldn't they be what? Why are these things not nice? Are these loose? Oh, they are. That's not wonderful. Wow, these are really loose. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. Huh, that's a little strange. Alrighty, everybody, this is not ideal, but it is raining and I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to be waiting all day, basically, for it to stop being rainy, so my camera doesn't get wet. I will be putting something over the exhaust and putting the shield back on so the engine doesn't get wet. But we're going to see. This thing should fire right up. I'm hoping that it just cooperates. I don't see why it wouldn't. Everything's should be pretty good to go. I don't know. Sheesh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Okay, I get to charge the battery. I don't know, it was running not super great there. Wasn't giving it that much RPM, and it was quite high. It's loud. I did hear, I think, a backfire. I don't know. I don't know. If I can just get it to like run and just chill out. It's loud. Alrighty, I'm a little nervous. I don't know what the backfire was about. I got headphones because this thing's super loud. Got the battery, been charging it, I don't know, 5 minutes. We're gonna see if it'll fire up, and I just want to get it to idle. That's really what I want to get it to do, so. Maybe the back cylinder's kind of funky. Not quite sure. It's loud. It's definitely gonna get a muffler. I was gonna straight pipe and just do like a 4-foot pipe section or 3.5, whatever, but it's loud enough to where it's gonna need an exhaust. And I don't know about full throttle. It don't seem like it's wanting to do that. I gotta change my camera battery. Alrighty, everybody. So this backfiring is a little strange. I'm not sure if a valve's hanging open or what's going on. All the valves have been lapped and all of them turned out pretty like good. Like the ceiling faces looked fine. The exhaust valves weren't super great, but I'm gonna run it a teeny bit more and then maybe pull the valve cover off. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. I can hear it. Obviously it's missing, but I can almost hear like it almost sounds like a flame front is getting into the exhaust. Something weird. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Alrighty, y'all, it has been a battle with this thing. Charging system will not charge. I tried mending the regulator. It melted the wire and caught on fire and was shooting sparks everywhere, and I made a little exhaust for it, and the exhaust broke, and I had to beat it out, and it got trapped, and a whole bunch of junk, and my eyes are irritating me, and it's been super windy all day. I haven't been able to film because it's been like 25, 30 mile an hour probably winds, if I had to guess. It's been like windy enough to where it was like uncomfortable. My eyes are very angry, so I'm gonna see if I can hop in this thing, on this thing, whatever, and get it to go. It doesn't want to run great. I also completely took the carburetor apart and cleaned it all out again. I don't know if the manifold's cracked internally, because there was kind of some black soot in the carburetor. Not sure about that. Wouldn't surprise me. This manifold's absolutely destroyed. It's cracked where that exhaust connects, and someone tried welding it and needs a new manifold. What's new? So yeah, I'm gonna hop on this thing and see if we can move it around. I think last time I tried it, I may have had it in park. That's why I didn't want to move very good. So this thing officially is not real that great. It's really not that great. I don't know if oh whoops, I scraped everything up. I don't know if a valve's hanging open. I honestly, I really can't tell you. I know it's backfiring through the intake, which, you know what that is, kind of stuff. I may try to drive around a little more. I'm gonna get this backfiring maybe figured out. It could be a valve issue. I wouldn't be surprised at all, honestly. I don't know why it's backfiring through the intake. I don't know. It's definitely backfiring through the intake though. And the thing I don't like is that the intake's black, which means that it's somehow getting exhaust gas into it. Or combustion. I think it's exhaust, because it was the carburetor was pretty gross. I don't know, so I'll catch y'all when I figure something out. Okay, everybody, okay, it has been a while since I recorded. The tractor still misfires, but I've been working on this generator and posting on the forum and the forum that I'm a part of and trying to figure this thing out. Finally, I got it figured out. So here's the deal here. We're just gonna run through this. So, the tractor, obviously none of this is original equipment. The tractor has been equipped with a 1960s Ford generator. I believe this is either off a Galaxy or a Fairlane. This is 12 volt. This top post is your field, the bottom post is ground. I could barely see the G's that someone had stamped in there because the bottom of this case is so rusty. This is your armature output or your brush output. The part number on this unit is, so the part number on this thing is FAS 10139B. Now, there was an issue with this thing. There was a reason that it was not doing what it needed to do. The brushes had the springs snap off and they were stuck in their guides, resulting in no power flow at all. There was nothing, there was no motoring. Motoring is where you turn your generator into a motor. You apply voltage and it motors. So in an attempt to prove whether this thing was junk or not, I took it all apart. It was really easy, just 2 bolts on the back. This pops off. You gotta get this nut off. I made my own custom springs in there out of springs. I literally took springs and stretched them out and wound them and made this loop to push on the brush so it would actually contact the armature inside. So those are just temporary. I found the ones online. They're a flat spring steel spring, not my Janko setup there. So I just want to show you guys that this thing motors. Now these do get hot. I don't know why, but they do. I'm gonna unhook this. So we got the negative lead here going to the ground terminal and the positive lead going to the armature. And this thing should spin up. Don't mind this extra set of wiring here. I can take it and temporarily move it out of the road. Okay, it motors, great. So now I need to go get my tripod. Can't see, dang it. Okay, so I got bigger jumper cables here because the other ones are getting hot. So what I have here is the positive goes to the armature, or the brushes, and the negative goes to ground. So that will just keep increasing and increasing, so you don't want to just leave it to do its own thing. Yeah, okay. Man, we're really I'm getting myself messed up here. Okay, so how did I do this? I just did it. I got a reading. So we're going
Okay. So we're going, don't mind the wire color, but we're going armature to field, and then we're going ground to negative, and then back out. I'm gonna grab my wire here, black, and we're gonna go back to field. So let me see if that's correct. You can see that's 22 volts. 17, 22 at peaks is 22 volts. So the way this is working, and you can hook these up reversed, and the multimeter itself will be reading negative or positive. So what is happening, I believe, is your ground. Okay, so you're spinning it. It's generating power at your brushes. That power is feeding out into the field. The field is then feeding out of this brown wire into your multimeter positive, going through your multimeter, reading voltage, coming out of your multimeter negative, and going back into ground. So the way it's feeding itself, the armature feeds the field feeds the multimeter, and the multimeter feeds back to the ground. So we should get, and when I'm spinning this up, there's a point, I think you might be able to hear the drill change. There's a point where it will spike at 20 volts, but somewhere between, I think 17 about, it draws it down because I think it's feeding itself basically. So I think if you spun this up, technically, I don't know, you might be able to get it to self-feed and then it would just run away. The same with the battery, I think the battery would have it run away as well if you had it motoring that way. But alrighty, y'all, it has been a decent minute since I've recorded. I honestly don't even remember what I recorded last. I painted the generator. And rechecked valve lash again. Rechecked top dead center again with the cam to make sure the cam and the crank were in time. All of this because it was just dead in the water. It would not fire. It was just nothing. Zero fire. Knew I had fuel. Took the plugs out multiple times. Adjusted the plug gap all the way down to 10 thousandths. The issue is, and I don't know why, I'm assuming it's the coil, but the magneto will not fire under certain RPM no matter what I do. I've ran it at high RPM for a while and then on a vise with a drill and let it go down and it smoked. Super sanded the points, reset the points to 20 thousandths. Didn't work. Tested the condenser. It did the thing where you set it on ohms and one end of the body and one end of the connector and it slowly charges up instead of spiking. That thing's fine. So I just made the executive decision because that Fairbanks Morris FMJ magneto, that's the part number, is an FMJ Fairbanks. It's Fairbanks Morris FMJ magneto. Was just toast, and it is toast. Long ago someone snapped the top ear of it off and JB welded it on. I stripped a bolt out, I heated it, or a screw, I heated it and tried getting it out and it snapped off. And then the other issue is the other coil, or the coil has two mounting screws that screw through the body and screw, I believe, into the coil itself. And there will be pictures on screen of what I did at some point here, but there should be like two, I think.
but one of those came out, the other one completely would not come out. The flathead was stripped, it was seized. I heated it up for like ever, put penetrating lubricant on it, didn't come out. So the case of that FMJ mag, and I'm going to show you here in a second, is toast. So what I did was, and I'm going to say this, hopefully YouTube will catch it, I converted my Fairbanks Morris FMJ Magneto to an external canister car coil, just the kind you can get anywhere. So I'm going to talk about the way I did that and what I had to do and show you all it. So I've not tested it yet, but hopefully it works. Yeah, it's been a number of days since I recorded because it's just been such a nightmare of like hoping that it would fire off, taking the mag off and back on. I'm pretty sure it's in time. I hope I didn't mess with it. It should be. So if it's not, we'll know it'll backfire and I'll have to fix it. But so let's see here. For right now, I painted the that thing, my brain. I painted the generator, and I need to figure out whether or not I'm going to be able to use I'm going to have to buy another one of these, or if I can use this off the 77. This is the original 77 F250 regulator. I'll probably order one because I want this in the truck just in case. So I did that, went through, cleaned the front of the engine off. You can't see it because it's super underexposed. Took this off, cleaned this, ran this wire, and this is our first step here. This wire is the kill switch for our coil. It's positive. It goes from the positive lead through this switch to our coil through there. I took this off. So this right here, used to hold it was all rusted out. I ended up cutting it out because I didn't want it to hold any more rust, and if it holds water it shouldn't when I have the cover on, but if it does I'll just drill a hole and that'll be good. So these are all sanded flat. It's like 95%. One of these has a little spot that wasn't done completely, but I couldn't do it anymore. My hands were killing me sanding that thing by hand on a block of aluminum. So now we come over here to our coil setup. Here it is. If you ever have someone that needs to see this, you could share this video with them. I hope this works. It's not tested yet, obviously. I did go to, of all places, least expecting it, Napa sells spark plug wire in bulk. So I made my own plug wires up because this is a special extra heavy duty mag spark plug cap housing. And alrighty everybody, sorry about that. My camera filled up with memory yet again. These 32 gig micro SD cards were not large enough. Nonetheless, I don't know where I was. This bolt down here stripped out. That's broke off. That one came out. That one won't come out. The coil in here is bad. At a certain RPM it kind of works, but it definitely will miss fire. So I was saying, I think Napa was the only one that had these bulk spark plug wires. Made these up. The ends on these stick down in this thing, which is a special extra heavy duty Fairbanks Morris FMJ mag cap cover deal. I'm not quite sure, honestly. It's an extra heavy duty version, and the cap sits like this, and these plugs go down into these receiver holes, and the ends of these are these little pinch on things that are kind of shaped like that, and you crush them on, you push them on and then crush them on, and they're really brittle. And Napa also had those, surprisingly. They're like little brass thingies, and they're very, very delicate. And then I got some ends from Napa and some plug boots from Napa. So obviously not affiliated with Napa, but they had it and other places didn't. So yeah, Napa also has a giant tractor section, which is where I got the head gasket kit for this thing. So nonetheless, what I had to do in here is, so the coil in here has two wires that come from it, and they come down each side, and they go down here and connect down here, which is where the connection for your points is. If you don't know what points are, they interrupt the ground, and each time the ground is interrupted, a spark is sent out of your coil, in very simple terms. So I disconnected those, heat shrunk them, jammed them up in here above the coil, and then I
put the condenser back on, ran this ground wire out the bottom. I drilled a little hole, a little tiny hole in the bottom of the mag, ran the ground wire right up in there and connected it. That runs to the negative post on this Bosch coil that's a spare out of my dad's VW Rabbit. I'm glad. Thanks for that. If I didn't have that, I would have headed to the auto parts store. They have them for like 15 bucks. So if this thing fails, it's not too bad. This is externally regulated. We also had this, which is a ballast resistor that had been sitting in a coffee can for 9 million years. And it's got a 1.5 ohm resistance, which lowers this to 8 amps, 8 volts, I believe, from 12. But this gets connected to the points, so that each time the ground is disconnected through your points, this collapses the field inside and sends spark out. I'm missing a cover here. I did heat shrink it. Hopefully it doesn't jump out. If it does, I'll have to do something, but I just made this. This goes down in here. Now this is a tricky part. This cap, since the inside of this is plastic. Oh, and I have pictures of it actually. There's this stud that sticks out up top. So right about here, it contacts this little spring, this little piece of metal that sticks out and goes into your coil. And each time the field in the coil is collapsed, discharges through that, down through the back of this plastic cap inside here, through your rotor, and gets distributed. The rotor does have a gear on it. This is a little like felt wood gear thing. It's like a compressed composite material. And it goes, obviously gets sent to your spark plugs, which gets sent out here. Mine is 1. I have 1 on the back, 2, 3, 4. Now the firing order on these is 1, 2, 4, 3. So it would fire 1, 2, 4, 3. And that is the cap, or the rotor inside spins clockwise. So it's going to hit 1, 2, 4, 3. In here it's 3, 4. I have it on the back. I need to change it. It's 1 up across to 2, down the bottom to 3, and across to 4. But it's really 1, 2, 4, 3. Anyways, so I had to solder. I had to drill a hole in the top, run this in, solder it to the stud in here, and the solder went okay. It soldered pretty good. I just very heavily soldered it. Then I heat shrunk it. Then I heat shrunk it again, and then I fed it up through here, fed it out and into the top of our coil. So when the coil fires, it will get shot down through the existing stud down and be distributed in this basically now distributor. This thing really now is a distributor. At some point I'll be either getting a new mag or an actual distributor style. And then this is 12 volts in through a keyed, through a toggle switch ignition, through this ballast resistor out and to the coil. So that's pretty simple, just ballast resistor. This is a good spot to mount it on the edge of the oil pump. So I took that bolt out, used some plumber's tape or some like strapping material, and wrapped it around it, put bicycle tube to insulate it, just kind of to help it. It's a little loose, I may have to fix that, but if you're ever, I had to drill the hole out in this strap material, and the drill bit caught and just about got my finger real bad. If it wasn't for my fingernail, I'd probably be getting stitches in my finger, but thank the Lord for fingernails. It stopped the metal, and I was able to get off the gun, or get off the drill trigger quick enough before I obviously had to go inside and like mend it up. But the reason this is important is points, I believe, were not designed to have a full 12 volts applied to them. So what this does is drop your voltage, and I think it's your voltage down. If you run full 12 volts to points, it burns them up, I guess. So this drops it down. We did do a test, and this drops it down to like 8, I think, somewhere around in there. So this thing should be ready to go. I need a new oil filter. They're expensive. This thing's probably gonna leak. I did try taping it. I gotta order one. Nonetheless, that's what I did. I tried to make this as clean as possible, and because this is an extra heavy duty special deal, I had to electrical tape these, and the reason these are electrical taped is these were loose on the 7mm wire. This is also metallic wire, core wire, or it's actual wire core. But I had to electrical tape those because they originally had these. These are like a Chinese finger trap for a spark plug. Here's the little thingy that I got 5 of them. Thankfully I broke one of them off promptly, but they push on and then they clip on. Not a great design by any means, but I want to get rid of these because they are destroyed and all frayed out and not really finger trapping anymore. So yeah, this is a mess and is going to get cleaned up as soon as this thing runs. So I'm going to throw you guys on the tripod and we're going to see if this thing fires off. Oh, so that wire that I showed you comes across down through here, goes up to this, and comes out here to the positive terminal. So when I want to turn the tractor off, close this, positive should be disconnected, I hope. Alrighty, with the help of my dad, I did just test and verify that the kill switch does actually work.
Give him the Forrest Gump wave. He's like this, like.
I don't know if this thing's gonna pop off. I got my rain cap here. I plan on getting an actual muffler here at some point because that's too loud for me. No clue if this is gonna work. It may just straight up not work at all. Is that gonna hit? This stupid thing. Ouch. My neck. Okay. Yeah, that's how it should have fired up. I know why it doesn't run right. Be right back. Okay, I think the carburetor might have been misadjusted. This could have valve issues and my valve job could have sucked. Who knows? I don't know. kick in it. It's weird. I can't seem to tune it out. I think that carburetor might be
Smoking smoke.
messed.
Do it. Is it in low gear? Is it in low gear? Yeah. Give the beans.
Whoops. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never operated a front end loader. Out of gas. Turn the coil off. I think that's gonna do it. Ow, ow. Holy smokes. Well, y'all, another tractor saved from the scrap. Hard fought. This was not easy. If you notice mood swings during the video from me, it's because I have mood swings during my videos. Some days I don't feel good, other days I'm just struggling. This is a lot of stuff to take in and like process within mere days because I'm trying to get a video out, and this is all new. Again, I am 23-year-old for any of you that don't know, and working on stuff from the 40s is difficult. It's never been easier in today's age, but at the same time, it's never been more challenging and odd and just different. But I believe in bringing this stuff back to life, reviving it, because, well, I like giving equipment a second chance. Kind of reminds me of the Lord giving me, well, second chance times infinity. The Lord's very, very merciful, but I revived this old equipment because I don't want to see it go to the scrapper, and it's seen a lot of years, and I hope to make it see a lot more. Nonetheless, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any constructive criticism, please keep it nice. I could not be doing this at all. I could be doing a whole bunch of other stuff and not be doing this. So yeah, it's misfiring. I've cleaned the carburetor 2 times with air, once with water. 2 times with air, 1 of those was with water, and the 3rd time I did carb cleaner, and it is just not happy about life when it runs. It misses. I don't know if the plugs are an issue. I think I'm gonna get new plugs because those plugs are fouled, and they've been fouled, and I don't know what their previous life was like. Judging by how this thing didn't run when we obviously know why it got parked. Thinking magneto issues, and probably didn't have great compression with the valves, honestly. I don't know what the compression is now, but there was a point there where I was digging where it actually started like running legitimately,
The carburetor's kind of all over the place. I read online that you want to set the idle mixture to 1.5 and the main mixture to 2. In order to get this thing to run, I have to set the idle... I actually don't know what I have to set it to. I had it so far out there when I was running it. I had the idle mixture at 3 turns out and the high-speed jet at 2.5, 3 turns. And I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why it is wanting so much fuel, because the entire intake plenum is sealed. It's got new gaskets. I don't know what's going on. So other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all could do me a huge favor, it would be really awesome if you dropped a like. Maybe share this with someone who loves the Lord Jesus and likes old tractors and farming and who knows what else I might do, camping, old trucks. Who knows, y'all? I'm trying to make this channel anything and everything that I stumble across, because I am kind of trying to make this channel a dictionary or a videoized, if that's a word, photo book of all of the random odd things that I get into, because I managed to get into a lot of strange things. This, however, was something that I've been planning on getting for probably 5 years, honestly. And super huge shout out to my dad for allowing me to park it in the back and work on it, and my grandparents as well. And honestly, kind of crazy to think about, and some people don't understand, but this is a dream come true right here. My first ever tractor. Wanted it to be a Ford, but the Lord had other plans. Never in my life would have thought that it would have been an Allis Chalmers 1949 WD. But yeah, you know, honestly, next video, who knows, pressure wash, maybe. I got a whole bunch of other stuff I'm filming. I got a lawnmower. I got a lawnmower and an edger revival, like a yard edger that I got for free. They're real old, so you want to stay tuned for that. And I really, really want to take the truck and the camper camping. It's spring. For you, I live in Oregon, and it is just scenery like no other here. So I want to do that and get some shots for y'all. Huge shout out to my dad again for filming. If y'all know what's up with this misfire, this like intermediate bub, it doesn't chooch black smoke running, but when it misses, it's puffing. Could be the plugs fouled. I definitely fouled them twice, and actually 3 times. Before me, they were completely packed in with junk, and also well before me, I'm sure we can all guess how this thing ran. I'm honestly very blessed that the starter's not bad, that the flywheel isn't bad, and a whole bunch of other stuff, because when a mag like that goes bad, people kind of do what I did, which is they'll crank and crank on the starter. Now, I ran the starter through its paces, on the high side of its paces, but, you know, some people will just really, really rip on this thing. Another thing I noticed is that the hydraulics take a little bit to kick in. I'm not sure what's going on there. I also got to figure out this hand clutch. I don't know what you're using the hand clutch for, because you just have your foot clutch. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, another thing was I was standing behind it, and I left it in gear and went to turn it over, and it moved a teeny bit, and it's because I'm in a hurry. So definitely need to slow down a little bit, but thankfully I don't know, I think I had the kill switch off or something. I stopped because it like rolled. I need to slow down. Obviously this thing can and will, we'll just leave it there. This is not a lawnmower. This thing weighs like this as much as a car, so you got to treat this stuff with respect, and I need to slow down anyways. I am hurrying through projects, trying to get them done for y'all. If I skip Fridays, it's because I just can't keep up. I'm trying hard. I'm waiting. Parts take like a week to get here because I order them and they're from the East Coast and take 5 days to get here. So there's a whole filming week gone waiting on like a part. So I'm just really trying, y'all. But I do want to emphasize, and usually I'm pretty good about it, treat this stuff with respect. Okay, a lot of people have died operating this stuff, like a lot, many different horrendous ways. Yeah, I just need to slow down a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy. It just kind of like, I felt it like lurch. It didn't like, it just bumped me, and I was like, oh dang, okay, I'm slowing down. That was sketch. So, I don't know, I really don't understand what the secondary hand clutch is for, because you have a foot clutch. I need to look that up. I don't know why you'd have a hand clutch. One thing with this is I want to lift the bucket, but I have to take it out of gear to do that, because if I leave it in gear, it moves and lifts the bucket. Where's the feature where you just can sit there and don't have to? I don't know. My brain. I guess you have to let the clutch out to engage the hydraulic pump. Makes sense. But can you? I don't know. I have no clue. So yeah, this thing definitely. Just some closing thoughts. Very intimidating, honestly. Quite intimidating. You know, a lot of young people, myself included, I grew up on a farm, but never around like a lot of bigger equipment. Like, I've been around big equipment, and we've rented tractors and stuff, but there's just kind of something different about old iron. It requires you to like think. Like, new stuff, you just throw the hydrostat and drive, and if you let your foot off the gas, it stops, kind of thing. You know, this thing's like clutches and hand clutches and like, I got no clue. But yeah, I just need to slow down. I need to slow down in life in general. I am rushing and hurrying, and man, I just want to get these videos out to y'all. I really am enjoying recording, but I'm kind of yapping on. I hope the shots were good there. The bucket, the carburetor, just, it makes it it really does, and the exhaust, it makes it unusable. Like, it really does. The exhaust is awful. It's horrible. I shouldn't have wasted the money on it. I should have just ordered an exhaust. Don't straight pipe. It is so loud when you're revved up. It's awful. It's not usable unless I need to wear headphones, and then people around me are getting their ears blown off. It's just not cool. And I read that on a forum. I was like, well, I'll just throw some pipe. Yeah, no. We'll be getting a muffler. And I gotta get the carburetor figured out. It's just not usable, because it like pops, which then causes the governor to like, it's backfiring. What's weird is it's backfiring into the carburetor, I think. And the reason I am thinking that is because it's causing the governor arm to kick. I can watch it. The governor arm will like go boom, boom, boom. And I don't know if it's because I don't. So one thing I did notice, when you get really rich, it actually starts like explode backfiring. And then this other thing is kind of like non-ignition of fuel, almost like the spark plug isn't firing it. I'm not quite sure, honestly. I don't really know. Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, what a hard-fought battle. This thing obviously had a rough life prior to me. Someone did not take care of this tractor. It leaks. The front gearbox is just soaked in stuff. So, yeah, just be careful with tractors. Be careful with tractors. I need to remind myself of that. And now that I got this thing running and movable, I can slow down. Finally. Gosh, the reason I'm hurrying is today's Thursday, and I was trying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was trying to get the video out tomorrow, which hopefully this will be out tomorrow. I have like over 100 plus gigs of footage to edit through, and I'm trying to film less because it's hours and hours and hours and hours of editing. So, if y'all have any tips and tricks, by all means, let me know. I think this is a pretty good starter tractor. Like I said, I really wanted a Ford 8N or a 9N because they're kind of a smaller profile, easier to get used to. But this thing is pretty good. At one point I was wanting a huge tractor. I really did also want an Oliver, but again, it wasn't in the plans. Instead I got an Allis Chalmers. And the truck did haul it. I think I mentioned that. The truck is going to be getting a new camshaft. It didn't super enjoy it, but it did do it, actually. It did it just fine, really. Didn't like the hills very much, but it did it, and like, it just did it. So, well, other than that, I hope the Lord's watching over all you out there. He sure is watching over me in every way. Yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you so choose to subscribe, and sharing the video. Really trying to get the channel up off the ground, and honestly, really all this kind of stuff comes second in my life. The Lord Jesus is first, and I hope to use this stuff to spread Christ, and well, maybe vice versa. Use the Lord to get people interested in things that they should be getting interested in again, instead of sitting on their phones and just earning money for 30 years and then being too crippled to work. I don't know. Pursue your dream is what I'm trying to say, if it's a good dream. My dream's farming, something very simple, but it is quickly dying in America. So, yeah, other than that, may the Lord Jesus bless all of you out there, and I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Whew. Oh man, the video is done. That was so difficult. Oh, that was hard fought. That was hard fought. Holy smokes. Wow. One thing I did want to mention, I'm throwing this in here after I outro the video. Whenever you're starting a tractor or doing anything, go to the back of the tractor. In the one case, I had the tractor in reverse. I'm not quite sure why I had it in reverse, but yeah, I don't actually know why I had it in reverse. But don't ever come over here. Stay away from this area when you are starting the tractor. And another thing that I try to do is anytime I'm going to be adjusting something out there, I wasn't doing it because I was like on and off so much, and I was like actively moving around, as I always try to lock the parking brake, which on this it's just 2 pedals and a lever you pull up, and that just gives you extra time to like make a mistake and get out. The brakes on this thing work really well as well, by the way. Like they work really well. So yeah, just figured I'd throw that in there. If you're ever starting the tractor, attempt stuff at your own risk. This is just my opinion and experience, and what I've seen many people talk about and say is go to the back of the tractor, or better yet, honestly, just get on the tractor. Because if you're on it, sitting, it can't run you over. You can go forward, you can go backward. You're not in the moving, you're on it. So I actually need to adopt that into my mindset when I'm working with this, is just get on it. Whenever you're starting it, just get on the tractor. It's not worth like having something major happen, because chances are you are not gonna make it out of it. Like, or you're gonna be severely messed up. So yeah, that just came to my mind. Just get on the tractor, actually. Anyways, back to Tyler. Alrighty, I'll got a Bible verse for you here. I don't know if I'm redoing Bible verses, honestly. Doesn't matter if I do redo them. I don't remember, and they're water to my soul, and hopefully water to yours just the same. John 16:33. Actually, we'll just do 31. Jesus answered them, "Do you now believe? Behold, the hour is coming. Indeed, it has come." Wait a minute. Am I reading out of am I in the ESV? Yes. We'll just read from 31. Jesus answered them. He's answering his disciples. Do you now believe? Behold, the hour is coming. Indeed, it has come, when you will be scattered, each to his own home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. This is him talking about him being taken and crucified and everybody fleeing. 33, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you'll have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Really, really important to remember that, well, the Lord's overcome. So, catch y'all later. God bless.